In today's feature story, a preview of the Merry Monarch Festival, of sorts. It's not an official event of the famous hula event in Hilo, but the world premiere of VolcanoScapes, Dancing with the Goddess, happens at the historic Palace Theater on Monday and Tuesday, April 21st and 22nd. It's the fifth in the VolcanoScapes series produced by Mick Kalber and the Tropical Visions team. And this time, the Emmy Award-winning volcanographer turns his lens toward the ancient dance of hula and its relationship to the volcano goddess Pele.
I wanted to do a show that was about a heart space of the volcano, not about what the science and the head, but what's happening down here, what you feel when you look at it, why people are connected to this volcano.
And just in time for the Merry Monarch Week, Dancing with the Goddess showcases the respect and awe that Native Hawaiians have for the active volcano. It also profiles the photographers, scientists, and artists who draw inspiration from Kilauea.
My whole concept here was dancing with the goddess, and the hula halau do it literally. And there are a lot of other people like myself and Brad Lewis and scientists and poets and glass blowers and artists that dance with the goddess in a more figurative fashion.
Documenting the island's volcanic eruption for decades, Kalber says he wants the world to know the other side of Kilauea.
I am sick to death of watching television shows that depict this volcano as being scary and dangerous and the weirdest thing, and just hyping this volcano, talking about nonsense to me. And I wanted to do a show that told about the real story of Kilauea, what we people who live on this island know this volcano to be, and our relationship with it, and what it really is.
We recently interviewed Kalber at his home in Hilo, where he edited the latest VolcanoScapes film. We have known Kalber for a few years now.
This amazing phenomenon was happening, and nobody was there shooting it. And I decided I had to go get a camera and start taking some pictures.
But Kalber has been at it for far longer. Here's what he had to say about his latest film.
Through the help of a lot of people over the years, I've been able to put together profiles of different people who are intimate with the volcano. And it's really been interesting the way it's unfolded, because I kind of didn't have a concept about this show except for the fact that I wanted it to be interview driven. I didn't want a narrator in the show. I wanted to push the envelope a little bit and let the people in the show tell the stories themselves, and which is a fine technique, but it's difficult, because you can't make somebody say something. You have to take what they say and mold that into something.
Interwoven throughout the film are profiles of the people who are drawn to Pele.
Walking out in the dark, you get the little hints of what you're going to see with the light, the different glows, possible explosions.
Like world-famous volcano photographer G. Brad Lewis.
During the days that the lava was in Kalapana, got to experience everybody's reaction to that, and all these people, their homes, their gardens, you know. I was amazed at just how open people were to the fact that they were going to lose their home.
It was otherworldly.
Or the underwater photographer Mike May.
The very first time I did it, extremely strange, very, very weird sensations. So I wanted to get in, get as much footage as I can and get out. I did not want to linger. I did not want to overstay my welcome.
And if the lava was flowing to the sea, then we'd see the active eruption touching the ocean.
The film features leading tour guides like Shane Turpin, who prefers Pele by boat.
One afternoon, we got word that there was pretty big flow out on the Royal Gardens area.
Or Carl Dorn, who takes visitors over the volcano with Paradise helicopters.
It's one of the fastest flows I've seen, all the way through Royal Gardens, all the way down to the bottom. It's a huge, big, wide, long flow.
She reminds me that I heal.
The new VolcanoScapes also follows the artists inspired by Pele, like poet Kimberly Dark.
It's like I became aware suddenly that the voice that was speaking in my head was Pele. And I suppose that's the relationship lots of people have with God, whatever they conceive that to be. But it happened for me here.
The nature of the material, it speaks to me. I wanted to go to the glass studio and see what comes out of me.
Or glassblower Daniel Mo.
I'm so grateful to be able to be here, live here, be inspired by this, and be able to go into the studio and create.
When you're looking at something as inconceivable as rock, which you take to be solid and perpetual, as a liquid, it's an indescribable sort of feeling and an unbelievable sight to see.
The film includes science as well as art, showcasing geologists like Mike Poland and Milton Garces.
What you hear is just the tip of the iceberg. On the deep end of sound, that's where most of the energy is. And it's massive. There's enough acoustic power at the source to power a small town.
But the real star of the show, aside from the volcano goddess, is the hula. And VolcanoScapes features two of the island's best-known teachers, Kumu Ehulani Stephanie and Kekuhi Keali'i Kanakaole Haililani. Both were present the day we spoke to Calver at his Hilo home and shared their thoughts about their involvement with the film.
I'm amazed, what has come out of this video. I didn't expect it to be so fantastic. And the title, Dancing with the Goddess, is just so perfect because it shows up how different people, how they really actually dance with the goddess besides hula. We dance with the goddess in our way and other people dance with the goddess in their own way, and it's all shown in this wonderful video, and I'm just amazed. Well, he came to me asking me if I would be interested in being involved in a new video that's coming up, that he wants to involve our Hawaiian culture more and more of the hula dancing. And he was interested in me and my halal because we're more into perpetuation of the culture rather than entering into competition. So we're more deep into our culture. So that's how he got interested in me. And I said, sure, yeah, that sounds like fun. So he kind of explained to me what was going on. And
Ehulani, Stephanie's halal, worked tirelessly with us that day. We started before sunrise at the edge of a Kilauea crater with Hale Ma'u in the background, and we shot there, and then we went up into the koa forest, and then we went to the green forest, fern forest, and then we ended up at steam vents, and it took all day long. And I counted them one time. I think they did 35 mele. It was crazy long, and they really worked hard. I couldn't have done what they did.
We do a lot of ceremonies at the Volcano National Park, a lot of performances, and yeah, so we were very familiar with everywhere. And then also going down to the lava flow, that was done also with me and a couple of my dancers towards the end of making this video.
It was crazy, but it was really wonderful. It was really wonderful. They were great. The weather cooperated. Everything worked out really well. We got lucky. We shot the halal with three cameras. We had 3 Sony HDWF 900Rs, which are HD cam cameras. It was all shot 1080p and at 2398. I think it came out beautifully. I really love it. Ehulani looked beautiful, and all her ladies dancing looked really great. And Ehulani and the halal were really great to open themselves up to us.
Hula begins with a dream. It begins in the intuitive.
I've been shooting halal kekuhi ever since I've been here, basically. I used to shoot them up on the hula platform at HVNP, and I did an interview with Pua Kanahele Kanakaole when I first moved here, and she was really wonderful. I was so impressed with her. We interviewed her, and it was chicken skin. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And I asked Pua to do an interview with me for my 5th show, which was on Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, and she, at that point, I don't think was doing any more interviews. I didn't know that. And she said, you can use my daughter, Kekuhi. And I didn't even know who Kekuhi was. Kekuhi came up, and it was the same thing as doing her mom. She just blew me away. You know, she chanted and she did interview with me, and I was just enthralled with her and her understanding of the Hawaiian culture, and you know, she lives it. It's her life.
You know, I was actually going to say no, because I was just so busy. And at the moment where my mind said, my brain said no, something else kicked in. And it said, no, you need to do this. And then I'm having this little debate while Mick is talking to me. So my nao said, do it. My nao said, say yes. And then my brain said no. My brain said, too much. And my nao said, say yes. And my brain said, too much. And you know, my gut won. It always wins.
And I was really lucky that Kekuhi agreed to be a part of this show. And she raised I've told her this before, and she doesn't believe me, but you know, what I was trying to do at that point was a primer on hula. I was trying to do the ABCs of hula, and when I interviewed her, she didn't do that with me. She gave me a master's thesis of hula.
I don't know that I'm still believing him about what he says about the fact that it may have. What I do believe is that the interview with me, because I just naturally talk long, and I think before that we discussed, okay, who else, who were the other interviewees, and when I got a sense of their diversity, it occurred to me that the hula question wasn't going to be enough to create the web to bring the idea of the what makes the spirit tick in terms of its relationship to the pele. And so that's why I went on and did the master's thesis thing, because we were going to be able to find something in that. And I just love to spend time at the pele doing whatever we're doing. So whether it's filming or dancing or orienting people to that space, and they do a lot of that sort of thing. Bring people to the pele or Kilauea or Halemaumau crater to orient them to the geo spiritual, whatever you want to call it, of the Hawaii space. Because in my mind, that's the anchor.
To me, there is no family that is more has more integrity and really does it. You know, in fact, Ahulani, who studied under them, you know, so it's all connected, and that's what the show is all about. It's all about connections. You know, for me, it's all about the volcano is a connection for people all over the world. You know, it's an obvious connection for the hula people, but the other people that work around it and play around it and study and are inspired by the volcano, it's a connection for them too. You know, we're talking about something, the most primal thing on the planet. We're talking about the way the planet was formed. You know, so it's the birth of the earth, you know, or as Kekuhi says, it's birth. It's just birth, you know.
It doesn't live up here in that small organ called the brain. It lives in the spirit. It lives in the mind space. It lives in the memory of every single rock on the island. And every single rock on the island was built by that volcanic process.
I feel reverence. I feel awe. I feel inspired. I feel...
What do you think is going to happen next for you?
Well, I'd like to retire, to be honest with you, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. You know, it's all, obviously, it's finances, and you know, the economic downturn changed everything. The business has completely changed. I'm an old dog, you know, and I've had to learn a lot of new tricks. And you know, this show took a long time. It took a lot out of me, but I mean, they all do. But it's a labor of love, of course. But you know, at what point do you say enough already, you know? I guess you don't. I guess you just keep going and do what's next on the plate, you know? At this point, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going to do or where I'm going to go. We'll see how it unfolds. You know, obviously, My higher power has a plan for me that I don't totally understand, so I'll just have to go along with the program.